enclosed cab's pretty damn nice. What do you guys think? Alright, so this is the new John Deere 30G. We got the 26 already. We love it a lot. And this one is 2 inches wider, just a little bit bigger. It's got a little more horsepower. Loading up the 10-wheeler here. This is in my backyard. We're building a shop right there. Needed to regrade all this out to where it goes away from the shop for 15 feet and then kind of does a little wash. I want to be able to drive around the shop. So our 26, when I got it, it had the option for an enclosed cab, but it only had heat, no AC. And I was thinking, well, if I'm gonna get it, I'd like to have both. So we got it without the cab, so it's just open. I went down to Pape Machine, a place that in our area that has these machines, and I had this thing sitting there. I was like, hey, well, maybe I'll upgrade our John Deere 26G to this. And so they offered to demo it to me so I could figure out if I wanted it or not. So far, I love it. I love this machine. It's basically, I mean, I can tell a difference feel-wise. It's a little bit stronger. It's really not a ton, but as you can see, I'm digging right now with a flat. That's a flat-bladed, smooth 3-foot bucket, and it's just digging like no one's business. I mean, yes, there's a lot of bigger machines out there that, you know, smoke this thing like the 55s. You know, that'd be like getting a 50G John Deere or a Cat 305, 307. I can't remember which one it is on the Cat, but this one is only 2 inches wider than the 26. The one that's bigger than this is the 35G, and that one is 10 inches wider. And I figured, you know, I can sacrifice 2 inches, because in our area, in the backyard, sometimes it's just really tight to get into, and I don't think it'd be giving up a whole lot with 2 inches, but 10 inches I think would be a big difference for us getting in some of these smaller backyards. So I think I might upgrade to this machine. I haven't figured out if I want to keep our 26 and get this one. In my opinion, I think it would be best off if we had 2 skid steers instead of 2 mini excavators. But if we had 2 mini X's and 2 skid steers, that would be what I really want. But, you know, put want in one hand and wishes in the other kind of thing. I just don't know if we could make it work. Plus, we are going into winter, and you know, work always slows down here for us in the winter time. We do stay busy enough to keep, you know, all of our main guys busy. Sometimes we have bad winters and we just, you know, have to put some of the guys on unemployment and wait for snow removal and stuff like that. But yeah, snow removal is just a day, and then everything's all wet and muddy and you can't do nothing for a couple of days until it dries out. We had one last year where in the backyard it was on the north side, so anytime it snowed, it would be there forever, and we just had to wait it out. It wasn't very fun, but hopefully we don't get too bad of a winter. I just like how quiet this cab is, man. It's nice. And then if you're dealing with like really dusty material or anything, it's just out of your eyes, and you know, you're not breathing it in all day. lifted this up, just like that. The other, guess we have to lock it in. The camera mount's kind of in the way, so. But the other day it was really cold, and one of my guys was in the other machine, and I was in this one. Had the heat going, I had the windows open, just that little bit with the doors open and the heat going. It was just nice, and you can, you know, angle these to where it's on your hand and not, you know, you're not freezing or nothing. I just like running excavators. They're enclosed. It just feels way nicer than one that's open. It just feels bigger. I don't know. Maybe it's this sound where it's like, you know, that like thud when you're operating. Instead of the rattle of the bucket, it just seems more solid. This is all untouched soil right here. And it struggles a little bit, but I mean, it's a 3-foot flat bladed bucket. If this bucket had teeth on it, it would just heat it up like no problem. I like to dig with the flat blade bucket because it kind of grades as I go. With the tooth bucket, we got to go back and compact it, which we still will with this, and then we'll put the base on top. But I think it's just a lot smoother for everything once you do the flat bucket. But you know, you definitely have to have an excavator that can power through, you know, a foot of material or however deep you're going to go. I've dug with this bucket out here. Some places out here, forget about it. There's no way, no how ever you will dig with this 3-foot bucket on here. This yard, not too bad, but if that's the case, we just switch to the tooth bucket and move on. But yeah, this is definitely the way that I prefer to dig, with the 3-foot bucket. But yeah, some of the places out here, they're so rocky and so hard that we just have to switch to the 2-foot or even the 1-foot blade tooth bucket. It's not too big of a deal, but I've found too that a lot of the digging is operator error. You know, if they're like, oh, it won't dig with this bucket, it's a lot of operator finesse or technique. So if you'll notice, like when I'm pulling back, I kind of just feather the pull on this, and then it pulls just fine. If you don't feather it at all, it has a lot harder of a time. It'll just get stuck. So feather it. A lot of it's just operator technique, but it digs just fine with it. You'll notice also, I'm not going a full bucket width over. I'm not trying to eat this whole thing up with the bucket. I'm about half, and that definitely helps too. Still get a full bucket out of it, but it's just not peeling up the whole length of the bucket to fill. So just a little bit of techniques for stuff. Everyone's different. Everyone operates different. I think I use backhoe. That's just what I learned on. Some people make fun of me for that. I don't care what you use, because basically every excavator you're going to use, even a backhoe, they always got the switch where you switch it. But if you've ever jumped on a piece of equipment that's using the excavator ones and you're used to the backhoe or vice versa, it's just like trying to operate something backwards in the mirror. It's just you feel retarded when you're doing it. It's pretty funny. But I don't care what way you use or whatever anybody uses, as long as you can operate it sufficiently. It's all the same at the end of the day. So don't let anybody tell you you're using the wrong controls and blah blah blah. It's all the same, man. If I would have learned on the other one, then it would have been the other one, and people would have made fun of me for using that. So it's pretty funny. When I say people, I just got a couple of friends that run them the other way, and sometimes I'll find their machines at their job sites and go switch them on them. Like what the hell happened? Pretty funny. Pretty funny. See, now it's getting hot in here. It's probably about, I don't know, 40 degrees today. The other thing I kind of do like about this machine, sometimes it's annoying, but when you stop using the machine and you're sitting still, like if you get a phone call or something and you stop, the machine will go to idle, which is kind of nice. Sometimes it's annoying that it does that because it's a little bit more shaky, but it's a little bit quieter. This machine is quiet whether it's revved up or idling. So either way, it's quiet. No big deal. Push the dirt around up there so I don't have to move. I can't really move because the pile's here. Not much more room to move the truck. So just trying to do what I can with what I got. Then of course we got lights, which are nice. The other machine has those as well, which I have used a few times on a few occasions, but most of the time we're working in the day. Unless I come home and I'm using something at the end of the day, trying to get something done at my place, like today, I will work a little bit in the nighttime. Most of the time we're in the day. We don't do any night work here. We almost have a few times, but it just never came to be. Not that I'm against night working, but just never came for us. Most of our stuff is residential. Do a little bit of commercial, and then even then, on the commercial stuff and working at night, you got to get permits and stuff, and not really worth the headache for us. can't even really see what I'm doing in there, but I kind of know where everything's at. Normally I'd be a little bit more conscious of dropping stuff out of my bucket, but in this particular instance it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm gonna have to regrade all this all the way out to there anyway, so whatever I drop I'm gonna have to move again anyway. This load is just going about 5 blocks down, so don't have to worry about turning corners and spilling crap out too much. It's pretty much right down the street. We got a neighbor that wants a bunch of fill, so definitely worked out for us. It's always nice having a place where you can go dump your dirt. Otherwise, you know, the local quarries, they charge you 20 bucks a ton, sometimes 12, but most of the time it's 20 bucks a ton here where we're at. It's always a good thing to keep in mind when you guys are moving dirt for somebody or excavating or doing stuff. It's like, oh yeah, we can do that. And like, oh crap, what about trucking? What about the dump fees? They're charging you 20, you gotta charge them at least 30. You gotta make some money somewhere. Or move the dirt for the 20 and charge them for the trucking if you guys have trucking. A lot of people, landscaping businesses don't have trucks, they just hire out the trucking. But we got a couple of these 10-wheelers that we use all the time, so we charge our own trucking to the customer. There you go. John Deere 30G, man.